So a very good afternoon to everyone. I think in the interest of time, we can now begin our session. So we're very pleased to have you all with us today for our India-specific webinar on smart factories and India's state-of-the-art manufacturing for the world during this second edition of the Business Booster Forum organized by CCI France International. So before we begin, just a few words in the chamber. IFFCI has emerged as one of the most active and dynamic bilateral chambers in India. We gather close to 650 member companies across India and France, offering a wide range of services with a team of 30 professionals spread across Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, and Pune. Our main objective is to foster business opportunities between the two countries, and our endeavor is to continue to deliver high-quality services and provide a platform for facilitating business synergies and networking opportunities between Indian and French companies. So in India, we collaborate very closely with the ecosystem, be it the French Embassy, the Service Économique Régional, the consulates, the AFD, Business France, as well as the state and the central organizations. And we work hand in hand and with them to support the French companies who are looking to establish their business in India. And in France, we work very closely with the Indian Embassy, CCI France International, of course, the local chambers, and the government institutions and private organizations. I would also like to take this opportunity to announce our upcoming French Fab India event, which is based on the industry of the future. The Chamber is jointly organizing this hybrid event in collaboration with Business France on the 18th of June, 2021 in Bangalore. The main focus sectors will be aerospace, automotive, textile, pharmaceuticals, e-commerce, and food processing. For more information on this event, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And now to set the context for today's discussion, there is absolutely no doubt that India is a key global market, and it is amongst the top 5 economies in the world. India has all the ingredients to leverage itself into a manufacturing hub for the world. Be it technically qualified young workforce, innovation and digital capabilities, its competitiveness in an increasing number of sectors, and a tremendous market potential. So to begin, we first have with us our guest speaker, Mr. Vaibhav Mittal, Business Head, Mahindra World City and Origins by Mahindra World City, Chennai. Mr. Mittal will introduce the topic before we move into the panel discussion. So the virtual floor is all yours, Vaibhav.
Thank you, Shweta. Good afternoon, everyone. It's glad to be online talking about the very, very important topic on evolution of smart factories in India. I believe smart factories in India is something for which the time has come, and India has been taking a whole lot of initiatives on that. For this particular session, I have with me 4 very distinguished guest speakers and guest panelists. I'll be introducing them one by one as we go forward. But to begin with, let me just try and put some context to the discussion which we plan to put up today, and have our speakers speak about it. Smart factories is actually considered as a very important outcome of the 4th industrial revolution, and it's very rarely known as Industry 4.0. And what does that mean? It means a digitized workshop, shop floor, which continuously collects data and shares data through connected machines. It's a blend of traditional manufacturing processes and digital technologies like advanced automation, IoT, cloud computing, 3D, AR, VR, and a whole lot of other technology enablements in the factory manufacturing setup. It is built around hardwares and softwares that collectively enables processes to govern themselves through machines, and the machine learning becomes extremely, extremely important. It's the complete value chain at which they work and operate at, and it actually includes both manufacturing, supply chains, and quality systems. Industries such as automotive, electronics, and healthcare were the early starters, and they actually started the whole revolution around Industry 4.0. And later on, a lot of other industries have picked up the whole thing. China, Germany, and Japan were the top 3 countries to begin this journey, but I believe that France has also picked up very fast, and France, US, and South Korea are the other leading countries as far as smart factories are concerned. France today has more than 43 to 44% of its factories which are smart factories. Now, looking at that, the question is, whether Indian manufacturers are ready for this and whether it is equipped with the knowledge and skills which are required to adopt some of these advanced technologies. And that is going to be very well captured in today's discussion when we go forward in that. Currently, around 28% of Indian manufacturing industry has implemented some level of smart factory technologies. And across the world, on an overall basis, it's around 43, 44%. We have a great chance in terms of making a leapfrog in terms of our smart factory implementation, because by default, the number of software engineers which we have and our affinity towards more mathematics and technology proves to be a great advantage for setting up some of these processes and technologies in our factory space. It fits in very well with Make in India concept and Atmanirbhar Bharat concepts of India. And this is where the future is leading. Most of the global companies which are coming in from across the world, including companies from France, are adopting some of these technologies. And some of the very specific pieces of technologies which are required for smart manufacturing are now available in India. So the question is, what are some of the challenges which Indian manufacturing industries are facing around setting up the smart factories in India? I believe that it is a combination of both the integration, connectivity, financing, and skilling, which is actually, not letting the evolution of smart factories to take shape in a very large context and in a large manner as far as India is concerned. It requires upskilling and reskilling of our manpower. I think that is something which the industries will have to invest a lot as they go forward and set up the operations. The second most important challenge is, the inflexibilities of people and the processes which they have already put in, the investments they have put in into the factories. And the other one is in terms of unavailability of skilled manpower. So reskilling and upskilling is required, but the current skilled manpower which is available is not conducive for the smart factories implementation. So the process has been a little slow. So how we look at smart factories is something which probably this panel will throw some lights upon, and we will be hearing from the industry leaders as far as evolution of smart factories in India is concerned and what they have done in their respective businesses when it came to implementation of some of these technologies. We have with us a very, very eminent, panel today. We have Mr. Arun Jora, Dr. Arun Jora. He is the Managing Director of Michelin India Technology Center. He leads the operations of Michelin India Technology Center, which is responsible for research and development work for car and truck and bus tires for Africa, Middle East, India, Asia, and China. Michelin India Technology Center is part of Michelin Worldwide R&D network. He has more than 30 years of experience across 3 continents in diverse industry sectors. Prior to joining Michelin, he had several leadership roles in companies such as Trakiton, SAE International, Eaton, Mahindra and Mahindra, and Ford Motor Company. He is currently the Vice Chairman of the Mobility Committee of Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And he's also a member of European Advisory Committee for SAE International, based in Brussels. Michelin came to India more than a decade ago, and through a rapidly expanding distribution network has established itself as a leading international tire company in the country. Today, it offers a range of tires which features the best of Michelin innovative technology, catering to the rising demands of passenger cars. Two-wheelers, cars, trucks, and buses, all types of tires are being manufactured by Michelin India, and they are designed, produced, and marketed to meet the challenges of mobility in the Indian market. The research and development in India has seen the total outlay of around 648 million euros, 6,000 employees, and 10,000 active patents portfolio worldwide. Michelin is an undisputed leader in R&D. Their technology centers are located in Europe, North America, and Asia. Welcome, Dr. Jora, to the panel, please. Our second guest speaker in the same forum is Mr. Romain Flenroy. He is the Managing Director of FBO Fittings and System. He is a graduate in Mechanical Engineering and Industrial Organization. Romain has several experiences in France and Asia for railways, automotive energy, industry sectors as business development, project management, factory setup, etc. Some of his past experiences include being the CTO at Sogfy Group in India, project manager at ACCO Corporation in China, lean manufacturing pilot at PSA Peugeot Citroën in France, and manufacturing project leader at GE. Romain has vast experience in the automotive and energy industries to develop complex mechanical products to set up thereby improve manufacturing processes. His company, FBO, with a capital of 2 million euros, is supplier of railway rolling stock, employs about 120 people, and has a turnover of around 15 million euros, of which 90% are made in railway business and nearly 40% in direct exports. FBO designs and supplies products including pneumatic, electro-pneumatic, connected systems to meet the specific needs of its customers for all rail rolling vehicles, offering reliability and performance. FBO is having 3 plants in Saint-Junien, headquarter and final assembly, Rolamont for forging and machinery, and Pune with its subsidiary FBO Fittings and System India Private Limited. Welcome, Romain, to the panel. Our third guest is Mr. G.K. Sharma. He is the country director at IES Plastic Omnium. Mr. G.K. Sharma is heading the Intelligent Exterior Systems Division of Plastic Omnium India. Plastic Omnium has a plant located in Chakan, Pune, and technical center in Vimannagar in Pune. Plastic Omnium is a French pure player in the automotive sector. Since 1947, its DNA is innovation and disruptive thinking. The group operates globally with 131 production plants in 25 countries and 25 R&D centers. It is the global #1 in the production of intelligent exterior systems. One vehicle in 6 worldwide is equipped with a PO bumper. Mr. G.K. Sharma has rich industrial experience of around 25 years in the field of P&L management, sales operations, manufacturing excellence, process improvement, quality, and safety. He is a qualified MTech, MBA, and certified Six Sigma Master Belt. He is a lean expert with several qualifications in continuous improvement, operational excellence, and productivity. At Plastic Omnium, he is successfully leading the position with a challenging role of business growth and profitability. Mr. G.K. Sharma has a passion for innovation and operational excellence. Welcome, Mr. Sharma, to the panel. Our fourth speaker in the same earnest is Mr. Amitabh Tayarat, Head of Manufacturing, Greater Asia and Executive Director, Roque India. Amitabh has graduated from ANSAM, that's École Nationale Supérieure des Arts at Métros. I mean, that's a French name. I'm sorry for the pronunciations. Paris Tech and NSEC Mulhouse. He has done an executive education program from INSEAD Paris. Amitabh joined Rocket Group in 2004 at their headquarters in France. Over the years, he has developed expertise in core manufacturing processes and operations. With an urge to work for home country, he joined Roque India team at Ahmedabad in 2012 as the industrial head. He has been the key driver and led the acquisition of Riddhi Siddhi right from taking a minority stake to the full takeover in 2014. In his current role as the head of manufacturing Greater Asia, he is responsible for driving the manufacturing strategy and to expand the industrial footprints of Roque in Greater Asia. He has worked with the multicultural, multilingual, and multinational workforce in India, France, and China. Roque Global is a leader in plant-based ingredients, a pioneer of plant proteins, and a leading provider of pharmaceutical excipients. In collaboration with its customers and partners, the group addresses current and future societal challenges by unlocking the potential of nature to offer the best ingredients for food, nutrition, and health markets. These ingredients respond to unique and essential needs, enable healthier lifestyles, and the critical components of life-saving medicines. Roque currently operates in over 100 countries, has a turnover of around 3.7 billion euros, and employs 8,600 people worldwide. Roque in India produces starch and derivatives products at 3 state-of-the-art facilities at Pantnagar in Uttarakhand, which is in north of India, Gokak in Karnataka, which is in south of India, and Virmagram in Gujarat, which is in west of India, which has its application in food, pharma, and feed industry. The company processes more than 8 lakh tons of maize every year, touching the lives of approximately 3 lakh maize farmers. To date, the company has invested more than 1,200 crores in the country, and the team comprises of 2,500 direct and indirect employees in the country. Welcome, Amitabh, to the panel. With this line of introductions, I like to start the discussions without taking more time. And my first question goes to Dr. Arun Jora. Looking at the way the smart factories implementation and smart factories penetration is happening in India, my question to you is that with the global footprint in manufacturing, what are some of the smart factory innovations being implemented by your company in India? How are these integrated by Michelin to meet the dynamic needs of the market? And has India really thrown some interesting surprises to the global manufacturing ecosystem of Michelin? Over to you, Dr. Jora. Dr. Jora, can you hear me?
Oh, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Could you hear my question, please?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
All
did.
right.
Thank you. At the outset, I want to thank IFKI for inviting Michelin to this panel of eminent co-panelists, and thank you, Vaibhav, for that nice introduction. As I answer this question, what I would like to do is put a context around what we do in India. In our Chennai plant, we have a huge manufacturing facility that we set up, and how we are sort of integrating the smarts in our factory, and what are the challenges that we sort of faced, and how we converted those into opportunities. So number one, of course, the plant in Chennai is the number one technology plant for us here in India. We invested about 3,200 crores in this plant. And as we speak, we have 1,500 employees at this plant, starting from the assembly workers and people on the floor to the various managers that we have. This is, of course, the number one exporter of truck tires to Europe and North America. And as we do this, we also have made sure that we are able to support the ecosystem around us through CSR activities. We have actually adopted 31 villages in Chennai, in and around the factory. We have about 550 plus local community people that are trained and employed, and not necessarily employed at Michelin. We train them, we run these programs to make sure that they can fit into the ecosystem, and smarts and the conventional, of course. So that is sort of where we are in terms of our footprint. And so coming to the question of what we are doing in terms of driving the change towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. And you sort of alluded to the augmented reality, the AR and VR. In terms of safety, we do a lot of these simulations, for example, and we are actually doing assembly and we are doing the curing of tires, and we have to get into the clean rooms. So instead of having the workers or the employees get into that directly, we actually have virtual simulators where we run the whole thing through augmented reality and have the employee train, have the employee acclimatize to the environment before he or she is going there for various reasons. Of course, safety is first. Secondly, we also want to make sure the processes are followed to the dot and the T. And we also have a lot of these sensors and curtains that we have integrated into the whole thing. And, surprisingly, I mean, people may not know or may know already, but unlike like we have in the automotive industry or in the other industries, robotics, we do have robotics as well in the Chennai plant that we use for ergonomics and various other purposes. What will be also interesting to know is that, typically when you look at a tire, you look at carbon black or rubber or some, steel cables that are coming out, or the textile, or, those this cloth fabrics that are coming out. There are more than 200 ingredients in a tire. So when we talk about these 200 ingredients in a tire, we have to make sure, first of all, the chemical equations and the processes that are being followed, we give enough time to that. The flow of these has to be very important. And also we have to be able to meet the market demands and evolution in terms of which tires have to be shipped to which market. Is it going to be more number this month, or is it going to be less number this month? And there are materials that have actually aging. So what we have done is we've actually introduced smarts in our supply chain globally, where we can monitor anywhere in the world from any location upstream the material that has to be shipped. Even our suppliers have these integrated through IoT inside their factories or inside their, I would say, warehouses. And depending on how much we need, what we need, depending on the lag time, the travel time, the logistics, the aging, these materials are shipped to the Chennai plant. And that is where we have a lot of these smart initiatives and for all these, I would say, intelligent algorithms in place. Anybody at any given time inside this chain can, at the click of a button, see and evaluate where, first of all, the material is, where the ingredients are, and how much is needed. This actually helps us in saving a lot of cost, a lot of time. It optimizes a lot of the resources that we really need to put in terms of making this an experience where that we don't overstock, because stock on hold or stock on the shelf is a lot of money, number one. The whole time at different ports or different godowns or different highways is not that high. So we are making sure that we are actually doing pretty accurate stock management end to end. And to add to this, we also see a lot of asset management in the factories. In terms of challenges, which we converted into opportunities, was, how do we actually make sure that the workforce that we have is glued and integrated into this entire smart and intelligent system that we have. The ecosystem is pretty, I could say, it could be daunting when you talk to somebody who is not, trained in this about augmented reality or IoT. But then what we do is we actually invest in employees, invest in the treatment, training of these employees. We actually have them do hands-on work in our manufacturing units overseas. And that is what actually is a very good investment for us, because we are able to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to integrating intelligent systems into our day-to-day production. It's also essential for us to keep upskilling the workforce. As we all know, talent is not permanent now. You could lose a person, you could have attrition, you could have various aspects. People could go on maternity and things like that. So how do we sort of substitute people at that time, or how do we sort of backfill at that time? So we do have a lot of these upskilling and refreshing programs for the employees to make sure that we are able to meet that. So yes, initially we thought, we are setting up a factory with 1,000+ people, but then how do we maintain and sustain something like this? And that is one thing that we really have learned over time, is that training and upskilling is very, very important. And we sort of alluded to that in the introduction. And that is something, if you can sustain it and exponentially grow it, that also increases a lot of satisfaction with the employees and the engagement. And that's why we are able to kind of get the best out of what we have. So thanks for that lovely question, and thanks back to you.
Arun, thank you so much. We'll come back to the skilling and reskilling part of it a little later. But, my next question is to Romain. Since, India is having only 28% of its Indian manufacturing industry moving towards smart factory. You set up your, establishment only in 2019 in India. Can you please tell us about the setup and what has been your experiences and challenges in setting up the businesses here in India, and how you went beyond these challenges to set up the factory of the future? Over to you, Romain.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I would like to thank you, FK and you, Vaivo, for hosting this webinar. So FBO, basically FBO France is a SME company with around 150 employees. So the challenge for us was different than the larger MNC companies. So to establish abroad France. So we had to put a lot of attention on the definition of the budget and expenses according to the growth of the company. So initially, we decided to set up only a small office space, the time to develop businesses and engage customer projects. Then we shifted to a factory at the time of set up the production lines, and development of the project. And one of the most important for SMEs or MSMEs like us, we bet a lot on the emotional quotient development and trust of our employees by giving them confidence and transparency on our business plan, on our industrial plan, by involving them. So by giving them self-independency and responsibility and developing also multitasking, as on today, one manager is having the capacity to handle around 2 departments by himself. It allows them to understand the complete working process of the company, the complete process of the project, and the most valuable is they appreciate their added value to the company.
Right, Romain. Thanks so much. That was a very, sweet reply and a sweet answer. Kept it well within the time, and I think we'll go forward with respect to the next question. But we'll come back to you with a very specific question, around your setup again. My third question is to Mr. G.K. Sharma, the country director for IES Plastic Ominium. Mr. Sharma, PO India recently won an award for Smart Industry or Industry 4.0 from CII. That's a very, very coveted award which comes out every year. So we'd like to know more about the same and what has been your journey in setting up and running a smart factory from process and people point of view in India. Over to you, Mr. Sharma.
Yeah, hello. Thank you, Vaibhav, and thank you, the team for inviting me to this forum and this panel discussion. The first, you can hear me all right?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, I'll take you before this award. I would like to just introduce what we do. Basically, the Plastic Omnium is manufacturing the bumpers and the plastic exterior components for automotive industry. We supply to the large OEMs in India like Volkswagen, Skoda, the General Motors, Mahindra, and other companies. And our component has been, look and finish has to be very good because we do the molding and the painting of those parts, and the part has to match to the customer vehicle which is being painted in other location, and then it matches. It has to have the same finish and same color harmony and all. So we started the operation in India about 10 years back, but we were having a very conventional manufacturing setup. And then we were having, lot of huge rework. We were having a lot of dependency on the people's skill. We were having the processes, the customer were not very happy. And then we decided, because globally the things were changing, Plastic Omnium was having a lot of smart factories globally. And the management decided to make a huge investment in India and making a plant which is world class. And before setting up this plant globally, our plant performance was in a bottom quartile. And though our safety point of view was very good, however, but the quality and the performance, overall performance was very poor. So we invested in this facility, and the objective was to have no-touch concept. And the components, and we invested in our robotic paint line, which was close to almost 130 crore. We invested just in paint line, and most of the OEMs will do that, but not the tier one. And we invested that from a European manufacturer. And then we had to change the entire system. We had about 600, 700 people at the time, a lot of dependency. Today, we are able to achieve, the same results or the better performance with 1/5 of the people. Our performance on the quality, which was earlier, 30%, 40% rework, has become to almost nil. The rework. Our customer, which were having a huge PPMs, today we are delivering a 0 PPM to an aesthetics component, which is the For VW, last year we achieved a 2 ppm, single digit 2 ppm, whereas the VW expectation was somewhere around 66 ppm as a target. So the team has done a huge work, and thanks to the smart factory, we have recently celebrated 1600 safe days. So we have a culture of safety. You can see that 1600 days without any accident in the plant. And primarily because we make sure that every machine is having machine compliance. And also we are investing in renewable energy. We are putting a largest solar plant, which will be 1.3 megawatt, and 30% of our plant energy will be coming from the green energy, which will be in-house. And so it has been a transformation for this this plant. We are not very much, we do not participate much of the event, but we got this opportunity through the CII, and we participated first time, and we got the National Gold Award, and that is because of our story and the transformation we have made. And it has been a very good journey. And I think the team, what has made it successful is the team who's working on the shop floor, making sure those are involved in the Kaizen ideas. Just a smart factory is not the equipment, it's the people, your team, how they are engaged in creative ideas, making, when we started this paint line, it was a huge, every day we were spending hourly 2000 units. Today, the same paint line with the innovation, with the team, and making what is right, what is wrong. Further, we have optimized to 800 units per hour, which is 1/3. So the point here is to be noted that when you have a smart factory, you have to also ensure that you don't stop your creativity, and you work on that. And I think it's a proud moment for us that we got this award, but I think we need to continue our journey. So thank you, Vaibhav, for this question. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Sharma. Very interesting point you made in terms of safety, security, and 1600 hours of, 1600 days of, incident-free working. That also talks a lot about the skills and the reskilling which you might have invested in for the people. Now, my next question is to Amitabh. Amitabh, this connects with what Mr. Sharma was mentioning about, people, and ultimately, industry, factories are all people driven in spite of no matter what technology we may put in. There has been some doubts, some of the publications have come up, like the Oxford Economics report says that the growth in AI, ML, and robotics will lead to, manufacturing job loss of around 20 million people over the next decade or so. My question to you in that context is that there definitely has to be a lot of emphasis on reskilling existing workforce, building confidence measures in them with respect to their safety, say job security, and so forth. In that context, what according to you are some of those organizational enablers to drive these changes, and what have you done in Rocket to initiate this journey, Amitabh? So if you can just throw some light on that. Over to you.
Thank you, Vaibhav, for putting this question. First of all, thank you to IFFCI for giving us this opportunity to speak on the panel. I will start very briefly with our journey in India, Vaibhav. So Rocket entered in India in 2012 through the acquisition of a company which had 3 factories in 3 different corners of India, in north, west, and south of India. And so I was working in the head office in France for 8 years, and then I wanted to come to India as it is my country, and I wanted to lead this change in India. And when I reached here, so it was an acquisition, right? So the company that we acquired was a very conventional Indian industry with a very labor intensive. The first observation that I had was the priority in manufacturing was production. Okay, so that to me was an eye-opener because I was coming from a culture where I was taught that it is safety, quality, food safety, excellence, and then production. Okay, so then the challenge was, how do you completely bring in a new set of mindset Okay, so it has been a long journey, and I will always start with safety, because as a manufacturing guy, we always start with safety. So when we came here, I mean, our frequency rate, which is the recordable, a measure of how you measure the recordable accident, we were at almost 8 to 10. And I'm very happy to say that over this last 8 years, 2020 was the first year where recordable accident is 0. And one of our factories also received the Golden Peacock Award from the national authority. It was recognized as one of the best safety factory in the country. Okay, so there has been a lot of effort in changing this whole cycle from production to safety, then food safety, then excellence, and then production. And it is, again, all has been done by people, right? So now coming back to your question on skilling and reskilling, our experience has been, I mean, the organizational enabler, if I were to speak, skilling and reskilling is at the heart of this transformation. But one very important thing, Vaibhav, is that if you want to build a culture, you have to invest in infrastructure. That is something I have learned in my last 8 years in India. I mean, culture is nothing but a habit which you do every day, right? But in order to change that habit, you will have to build the infrastructure. And when we acquired this company, I mean, there was not enough infrastructure to facilitate this culture of safety and food safety. So, I mean, one of the major enabler apart from skilling and reskilling is building that infrastructure. It is not, or I will say it is relatively less difficult when you are in a greenfield. And unfortunately, we do not yet have experience in India of a greenfield project, because we have 5 factories in India and all of them were acquired. Okay, so skilling, hiring new skill, building infrastructure, and learning and development. So one major factor that I also see is the change in mindset at the top management level and the middle management level, more at the middle management level. So when we started this journey of I 4.0 or Industry 4.0, one thing which was very clear to us that where India is placed today, it is an overlap of Industry 3.0 and Industry 4.0. We are talking about automation, mechanization, and to some extent digitization and data analytics all at the same time. So it's a major disruption which is happening in the Indian manufacturing industry, and India has to take it in a very matured way and in a way that it does not really disrupt things. It has to be an evolution. Okay, so one thing that we started doing, it was in 2017, is that we knew we would not be able to do it alone. I think that was the first thing that we said, this is something where we have to do with someone who has the experience. So we collaborated with Kaizen Institute of India. Kaizen Institute of India is a subsidiary of Kaizen Institute Japan, and we collaborated with them for 2 years. So first, we had a few days of training for our senior management and middle management team at our head office to really work on that change in mindset. And then the Kaizen team was sent to our 5 plants in India, wherein they did some projects with our people. And that really helped. That helped a lot in bringing a change in habit and then bringing a change in culture. So we are going through those changes. So I will summarize by saying that 3 things according to me are key. Number 1 is skill upgradation and hiring new skill. Then number 2 is infrastructure, building the infrastructure which leads to the sustainability of this transformation. And number 3 is really learning and development. I will add just one more thing, Vaibhav, is that doing everything inside your premises is not enough. You have to develop the entire value chain, the entire ecosystem. So there also we started 2 years back discussing with our suppliers and vendors how we can also take them through this excellence journey. What the good thing that has happened in India, I mean, in the last 5 years, I clearly see, and we clearly see, there is a lot of consciousness about quality. There is a premiumization which is happening, and quality consciousness has increased throughout India. And that is helping Indian manufacturing to evolve towards Industry 4.0, because that brings more reliability, more efficiency, and it helps. At the end of the day, the customers should be happy, right? So I think by doing everything that we are doing, we are working towards delighting our customer, and that is the main focus. I hope this is your question, Vaibhav.
Great, Amitabh. Thanks so much. I mean, I think it very well set up the discussion here, because in India it's an evolutionary process, and I think for any transformational change it should be evolutionary rather than sudden, because that disrupts the whole system. And I think we are well on the way to bring in those transformational changes through slowly upskilling and reskilling our people. And it's a great thing which Rocket is doing around that particular space. Very interesting part. I also personally feel that going forward, one of the biggest differentiators for Indian manufacturing would be the focus on quality. Unlike the scale is something which we can build with extra investments. We have the people, manpower, technology, everything. But quality is something which is a cultural issue. So if we build our processes, companies, and products around quality, that's a much more long-lasting success we are aiming at, rather than a short-term move. Moving to the next question in the panel, back to Romain with you. You're still new in the factory setup in India. So what are those FBO products which you think can contribute to tomorrow's smarter factories within India, and what are those kind of solutions which you can offer to the Indian industry?
Yes. So FBO products are historically and currently mechanical as well as electrical products. As on today, most of the trains are equipped with basic mechanical components, subsystem and system, as well as electrical system. So we observe overall in railway industry that the maintenance cost of a train is very expensive, very high. So, which includes a loss of train operation, high infrastructure costs, and high maintenance costs. So, operators, have observed, operators have observed the interest to decrease this maintenance cost and to stop this multiple repetitive train stoppage by replacing a lot of system and components at one time. But what we can observe today, we change plenty of components, which are sometimes maybe at 50 or 60% of their whole life, because it is too costly to stop the train several times. So now we, companies like FBO, we are developing a connected interface which allow to the maintenance team, maintenance operators, to collect via an application on a tablet or a smartphone all working conditions of the system, working conditions of the train, analyze them, and accordingly plan the maintenance activity. So this activity is called predictive maintenance. And the purpose of this is to focus only on the component system or subsystem which are 100% used. So it reduces the stoppage lead time of the train, it reduces the cost of maintenance, and it increases the availability of the train for users. So
great,
that's...
Yeah, got it. So, I mean, I think you're doing some fabulous work as far as railways are concerned in India. And I think our classical saying is that Indian Railways is like the nervous system of the country. And I think there's a whole lot of opportunity which, FBO can have around the whole railway network. And again, the transformational change which is going on. in the Indian Railways. I think you will have a great role to play in that. With that, my question to you, Mr. Sharma, is on the Industry 4.0, and it is actually related to the whole DNA of French manufacturing processes. And how do you think your company would be contributing to Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India? I'm sure one side is the manufacturing, the other side is the skilling, reskilling of people, and building in some robust processes and products. So, what are your thoughts around, Industry 4.0 contribution towards Atmanirbhar Bharat and your role in that, or your company's role in that?
Yeah, thanks, Vaibhav. Basically, the products what we manufacture is the the bumpers and all the what you call it, the exterior components. And today's vehicles are more autonomous vehicles, more connected vehicles, and that is the need. And that's more the every day you see that the vehicles, the expectations are increasing. And in similar line, the company, the Plastic Omnium, we are converting all the sheet metal components to the plastic. Okay, and that is the innovation what we are doing. And if you think about 20 years or 30 years back, the vehicles, either our ambassador car was having a sheet metal bumper. Today, thinking about a sheet metal bumper, if somebody wants to make it with the sensors and with the so much of the wiring and smart lights and everything, I think it will be a nightmare for a designer. So I'm sure that is not possible. So things are changing. You see today what plastic can do. It was not visible 20 years back. So we have a lot of smart products. That's why our company, the Plastic Omnium, is known for the innovation. So what we are doing is the next is the smart doors. Okay, so those doors are the plastic doors. Okay, and first time in India we will be making a tail door, which you call dicky, or the back door, the rear door. That will be a first time we will be manufacturing as a plastic tail door. Okay. And we are working as, the Atmanirbhar Bharat, I will call it, that this is a product designed in India for Indian customers, for an Indian OEM, which we will be doing the SOP in next couple of weeks. And this product is the first time ever made in India, a plastic tailgate. Okay. And this requires a lot of technology. And the good news is that this product was everything, all the engineering was done. But there was a huge dependency on a foreign equipment manufacturer, raw material manufacturer. But being based in India, and this COVID situation, it was those people were not able to travel. So we had to install all the machine ourselves. Our engineer learned it. In a way, it was what you call it, the need, because it was not possible. So what I mean to say that under the Atmanirbhar Bharat, we are making products for Indian market. And now you will see that it will be a change which will be happening. In the other OEMs, they will be taking not the steel tailgate, it will be a plastic tailgate. And Plastic Omnium is the word number one in making those products. And the only thing is that the mindset and the cost involved, that is being a French technology, you industrialize in India, it's a huge cost, and the customers are not. So our challenge is to make those more local. We need machine manufacturers to meet our requirement. So to be more, 100% Atmanirbhar Bharat, So we will need the help from the machine manufacturers. We will have raw material manufacturer, those can make those, the good quality raw material and produce. So I think it's changing. As I mentioned to you, that our products are changing, the vehicles are changing, the demand is changing, the customer is changing. They do not accept a product which is continually running. There was a time when a Maruti car was running for 20 years, but you see now the car life is 2 years to 3 years. So people want change. So the technology is changing, and I think the Plastic Omnium is ready for that change. And we are starting as a organization to make it happen. So I'm very proud with this product. Very proud with this product, and it's a smart tailgate, and with a smart technology. It's a totally robotized process, and very innovative product and process, which we will be starting in next couple of weeks. So I'm very excited about that, Mr. Mukher.
Great, Ms. Sharma. And I think it's very fascinating because, necessity is the mother of invention, as they say,
Absolutely.
and we got it done here in India. I'm sure at the end of the year, when you're going to sit and do some of the costings, you will have a lot of, savings around that as well from an R&D point of view, as far as Indian costs are concerned. Is very different
Absolutely.
from the French R&D costs. And I think that's a great example of some of the innovations which can happen here in India, and the contribution of French industry in doing those innovations. Amitabh, my next question is to you. You spoke about reskilling and skilling, but I'll just twist the question, and the paucity of time, we will just quickly have a couple of more questions and then open it up for Q&A. If you can very quickly let us know that apart from the manpower and the people related challenges on skilling and reskilling, what are the other kind of challenges which you faced during this transformation which was happening at Rocket once you acquired the company? And do you think, when you look at your experience in France and other countries and in India, do you think some of these challenges are more universal or very unique to India? So if you can throw some quick light on those particular challenges and your experience around.
Okay. So, one thing that I mentioned was investing in infrastructure. So, when you invest in infrastructure, one thing which was not so easy to convince was the return on investment on this, because India is a very labor intensive manufacturing environment, and the labor is not so expensive. So when you build infrastructure, the payback is relatively longer. But we realized as a company that if we need to bring this transformation, if we need to bring this change, if we want to transform this highly labor intensive manufacturing environment, it is very important to invest in that. And I think invest in the infrastructure. And that is one thing that we did. India, was more of a people or a person driven manufacturing, and we are transforming into a data driven manufacturing center for the world. Okay. So this is the change which is happening. And I think this I 4.0 will be a journey. It's not a binary switch which will happen immediately. Okay, so we need to be patient on that, and India has not yet fully leveraged Industry 3.0, and that is why I believe that we are really, experiencing that transition 3.0, 4.0 together, and we have to carry it forward along with people. You asked me also, how is there a fear among people, and how will AI and all, what will it lead to? Will it lead to a lot of job loss and all that? My answer and my experience, although I do not have a lot of experience, but whatever experience I have, what I can say is that machine can replace human in data analytics, but every company has an art and a science attached to it. I visited Michelin in their head office in Clermont-Ferrand for 2 days of internship or 3 days of internship. What I was amazed to see was there is a science, but there is an art. Now the machine will replace that. It will take over completely the science part, but the art part of that will remain always with humans. It is, and for me, it is the experience, it is the knowledge of the respective industry which will remain with humans. So it is a challenge, but we have to handle and take along people properly. For me, the key is how do we do it with our people, and we have to keep them confident. We have to take them along with us in this journey, because at the end of the day, again, I will repeat, it is all about bringing efficiency and bringing delight to customers. Okay, so that is how I will sum it up, Vaibhav.
Right, Amitabh. Thanks so much. It's just very fascinating and wonderful to know. My last question to the panel, very quickly, is to Dr. Jora. Dr. Jora, my last question is, your company is a global leader, and great workplaces are built around its people and employee empowerment and engagement. These are some of the robust, pillars for efficient and quality management systems. So how Michelin has done very well around in these aspects. So any thoughts on these aspects as far as India is concerned, and any anecdotes or any information you want to give to companies who are embarking on the Industry 4.0 journey here in India right away? Over to you, Dr. Tayarat.
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Vaibhav. I'll keep it very brief, looking at the time. I think we talked about upskilling and the necessity of this continuous journey to make it sustainable. What is also important, what we have seen is today's employees are very impatient, and for whether it's good or bad, I'm not commenting on that, but they're impatient because they have data on the go. Everything is so digitalized. So when we actually digitalize their access to various machines, to various processes, various stations and assembly, what also it does is not only improves the efficiency of the system, but also actually gives them a lot of empowerment to make decisions on the ground. So enhancing the empowerment also enhances the confidence of the employees. It also enhances the engagement and also enhances the development of the person. So that is something that we have actually transformed quite a bit in the digital context or on the shop floor. And even simple things like giving access to people digitally, a visitor comes to your office, you already have a screen where you fill in the data, and the visitor has access already, and he or she can go to the respective workstation or the plant, conference room. Things like that have actually improved. And the empowerment aspect also increases the safety aspect, because through the digital processes, we are able to tell the employee, or the employee is able to see himself or herself, where are the hiccups and where he or she has to pay more attention to. So these are quite a few things that have actually increased employee engagement, empowerment, and also help with talent retention, because talent retention is a lot of resource spent and important for the company to.
I think we are losing you, Dr. Jora.
I did answer the question, but then never mind, because
the last point, I think we missed you there. No, thank you so much, Dr. Jora, and it's good points to know, and I'm sure the companies which are embarking on the journey will have a whole lot of learning coming out of those particular discussion points. Shweta, we have a couple of questions, I believe. You want me to take those questions?
Yes, but Vaibhav, in the interest of time, we have to close in the next minute or so, because as this,
so I think we have one question.
Yes, so let's take that one question before we close this session.
Sure.
Would you want me to read it?
No, I can read that. This question is from Olivia Calvert. This is while Dr. Jora has already answered this question. This question, is more to Amitabh and Mr. Sharma. It's basically about how your companies are exporting around the world, and what are those countries which you are targeting, and is India really a country? So the essence of the question is, shall we look at moving to India from an India perspective, or there is a story around where we can export it to outside India as well? And of course, the reply has to be from Romain as well. So over to you, three of you, in terms of replying to this question.
I can
start with
briefly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so our products are like that. Those are very bulky products, and those are not very attractive for exports because of the transportation cost. Even the Indian manufacturing cost is cheaper, but all the smaller components still we are exporting to Colombia, which is the General Motors Colombia factory. We are also exporting to UK, to Bentley from India. So we are doing some exports. We are looking based on the size of the component and type. So we have started doing the exports. Earlier we had a challenge of the quality, but now we are meeting exports quality requirement. So we are ready for more exports. Thank you.
Thank you. Amitabh?
Yeah, so we are also currently exporting to African countries and Southeast Asia from India. Okay, and I think India gives a very good platform for exporting in all the nearby countries. We are also exporting in UAE. One thing which is important for people, French companies who want to be in India, I think it's very important that don't come in India only for India. You know, our experience has been that India gives that platform to export in the nearby countries at least, and the manufacturing cost in India is reasonably at a good competitive advantage than the other countries. You know, so yes, you can think of India as a manufacturing center for the nearby countries.
Thank you, Amitabh. Romain, very quickly, if you can reply to that.
Yes. So we are exporting to Australia from India. We are currently participating to a tender for Africa as well. Generally, we have targeted India, but we have also targeted other countries which have a similar approach of project management than India. Means the country who have, let's say, a certain budget to respect, and where we have to focus on the technology, but on the heart of the system mainly. So our target from India will be to address China as well as Southeast Asia, UAE, Africa, and South America.
Great, Romain. Thank you so much. And I think Dr. Jora has already explained that this center is exporting out as well, apart from taking care of the Indian requirements. I think, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the best of French industry in India is to offer. I think we have had some good, interactions. Thank you so much, fellow panelists, in terms of answering those questions. I believe the attendees actually had a good session, and will really learn a lot from their movement into India. And I'm sure your emails and your doors are always open in terms of providing them any sort of advice apart from what Indo-French Chamber of Commerce provides to them, and Business France provides to them. With this, we come to the closure of this session from my side. Shweta, over to you to close the session, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vaibhav. I would just like to sincerely thank Mahindra World City for supporting this event, and a big thank you to all our speakers. A big thank you to Vaibhav for being such an excellent moderator, and of course the participants as well, to make the session so interesting. Feel free to reach out to the chamber for any queries or questions. Until then, please stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.